All right, so this is going to be a different one for today. There's going to be a lot of theories, a lot of scientific ideas, a lot of philosophical ideas, a lot of archaeological ideas. I don't have time to go into the theories or the revelations behind all of them, or the math or the science. So I'll reference them, but it's kind of going to be either up to you to kind of know what I'm talking about or to research them. But what if the Great Pyramids of Egypt, not this pyramid, but the Great Pyramids of Egypt, are actually from our future? And the first idea is going to be like, that's not possible, we've already discovered them. So that's where we're going to start stepping into some of these theories. First theory is that of string theory, which basically you take the linear idea we have of time with a beginning and an end, as though it was a string through existence, and you crumple it up into a big ball. The problem with that is it's still linear, it's still a tube, it's still a line going from one place to another. So even though you crumple it all up, even though you follow it as it crosses over and back and forth and around itself, it's still stuck in a direction. It's still a tube, it's still a string. So we go to a different theory of time, that of being in the center of a ever-expanding gelatinous blob. Think of being a single drop of water in the middle of the absolute deepest part of the ocean. You can go almost in, you can go exceptionally long distance, any direction, until you run to the bottom of the ocean, a continent, or you pop out and you're in the sky. So that kind of gives you an idea, but it's not complete because there are no boundaries. And this is where we also get our idea of the universe too. It's an ever expanding universe, because once you get to the side of it, the corner of it, and you look out, you're literally creating more universe as you look out and observe it. So that's the first part of that thing to do with the time. The second thing is, the only time that exists is the moment you're in right now. Not the second, not the minute, not the week, but the moment, because a moment doesn't pass like a second does. It's not mechanical and mathematical. So if we are thinking about the future does not exist, but our idea of the future exists now, so that exists now. If we're having a memory about something that happened in the past doesn't exist. It is within the moment of now that we're thinking about it. And that's a lot of times why memories change from person to person or time to time as we grow up or change. So that's the second part of it. The only time anything exists is in the right now. So hopefully you're with me, first of all, on the whole time thing. So the only time we have is right now. So back to the pyramids. If we actually walk into the pyramids today, we're in Egypt and we're wandering around, the only time that structure actually exists is right now as we're walking into it, because that's the only time we exist. That's the only time there is. So looking at the progression of things, this is where we're going to switch topics a little bit here. We think of hieroglyphics as an ancient language, but the interesting thing about hieroglyphics is, and this is a comedian that actually pointed this out, that we're basically back to using emojis are the same as hieroglyphics, right? Prayer hands, you know what prayer hands are. Rainbow, you know what a rainbow is. Smiley face, anybody in the world you show that to and they know it's a smiley face. Sad face, tears, we all get that. Any of us that are humans see that and know what it means. What it does with emojis is you break the language barrier. And it's also a picture, so it's worth more than just one word, even though we simplify it a lot. So what if hieroglyphics are actually the future extension of emojis, and what it allows is people of all nations and all languages and all histories to communicate, because the pictures are universal. They're not words in a certain language. So the hieroglyphics, once taught, so we knew what they meant as a whole, people all over the world would understand. You wouldn't have to speak a language to communicate. Verbally you would, but via pictures, via written text, via documents, via history. Emojis that were complicated enough to get across the whole meaning would actually be a universal language. Again, kind of have to step out of the bounds of, well, that's not what emojis are. So, but what if hieroglyphics are just future emojis that can tell a complete tale? So we still can't figure out how they're built, given our modern technology, right? We still can't do it. So what if it's our future technology that actually builds the pyramids? What if we have the technology in the future, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 5,000 years from now, whenever, that we can understand how to build the pyramids? The little steps we're understanding now in the 20th and 21st century, since they've been discovered, we're only kind of having guesses at it, but we're always getting a little closer. We're always coming up with ideas that might work. So what if our future selves did figure it out and did build the pyramids? And then you think, all right, so what if they were built in the future? What if they are from our future? Then how can we be experiencing them now in what would be that future's past? Well, that's where it gets a little more interesting. Because what if, once we understand how time works and we're in this cube where we can bring it back and forth, all times exist at once. So it's not that we went back in time to find the pyramid that we created in our future, but maybe we just aligned with it enough that we could discover it. We became the species that we needed to find it and to understand it. And so it appeared to us in the now based on the fact that we're gaining knowledge, and that's why we found it in the first place. And that's where it's pretty easy to say that doesn't make any sense. It's in the past, we've already discovered it, we already know about it. So that's where it just becomes this odd theory about, we can't prove that they're not from the future and somehow we traveled into an alternate dimension where we see them and communicate with them and they exist. Or maybe we sent them back from our future because we built it on Earth in the future. And now here's where we get really weird, okay? The double slit experiment proves that something doesn't exist until we observe it, right? So what they found out is that once something is observed on the far side of that double slit, so to speak, it actually had to have been something different to start with. So once we observe something and it solidifies it into a particle, then it collapses the wave function back to